Hey, it's Luke here from LT Gaming, and today we're jumping back into SpaceCraft. Because over the last couple of months this game has started to show its real identity to me. You've got corporations, contracts, logistics, and a proper player-driven economy. It's all very exciting stuff. And I've got some massive news for you today as well. The demo is confirmed and it's landing February 23rd, so make sure to write that one down. I mean, this is incredibly exciting because I want you guys to get your hands on this one, and also the game reads great on a Steam page, but you really need to get your hands on it. Once you all see the loop that's at play here, I think a lot of people are going to find this quite grindy but very addictive. A massive thanks to Shiro Games for working with me and also giving us this news quite early. And if you enjoy this kind of space sim coverage, do me a favour, hit like to power the shields on the algorithm. Because right now I'm out here flying with half a reactor and pure optimism. Okay, for those who don't know and didn't see our last video, let's do a really quick recap. SpaceCraft is a space exploration and building game where you mine, craft, build ships, automate bases, run logistics, trade and push deeper into a big persistent galaxy, either solo or alongside other players. And why is it worth a look? I'll keep this pretty simple. It's still one of the best playtests I've tried in the space sandbox lane, because even though it is grindy, I always want to get to the next thing. Yes, they've caught me in that psychological loop. You're almost constantly improving something in this game. Your ship setup, your tools, your base layout, or even your production chain, and later on, your trade routes. And it gives you that lovely feeling of momentum where every session ends with a plan for the next one. Or at least that's how I felt anyway. And it's not trying to feel too hardcore sim straight away, it feels like it wants to be approachable first, then gradually reveal the deeper industry and economy game underneath. And I think that's a great way to bring people in and then hook them in the long-term gameplay. One thing I can't discuss is combat because it's not in the game yet and I haven't tried it and I don't even know how they're going to implement it, so we have to wait to find that one out. So what's new and developing since my last video? The big shift since our last feature here on LT Gaming is that SpaceCraft is leaning hard into the stuff that turns a fun sandbox into an actual living universe. Shared goals, industrial progression, and the systems that make co-op actually feel useful. In that sense, corporations are actually becoming the core of the game. They're not just being treated like a cosmetic clan tag, they're becoming a progression layer built around roles and shared progression. And even shared resources and long-term goals that you must all meet together, and I found that really cool. I have plans to set up an LT Gaming one in this once we all start playing. And really, this is where SpaceCraft feels very unique to me and I've been enjoying it. I can see that a big part of the ideal around this is requests, which are contracts that push corporations to organise and specialise. Everyone's going to be doing their little thing to meet contracts and add to the overall power of the corporation. Maybe someone specialises in extraction while everyone else handles refining or other elements. And if you're into satisfying space logistics fantasies, if that's even a thing, it does sound a bit kinky, but anyway, if you're into it, you know what it's all about. You're going to be helping to run your corporation machine. You're a small part in a much bigger wheel, and I quite like that feeling. I mean, isn't that what space and the universe is all about? Now, one thing I want to clear up here is the MMO tag, and I've actually had a good chat with the community manager about this. It'd be good to clear up that MMO fear. It is multiplayer, but there's no forced social elements here unless you actually want to engage. We do see some negative comments on this in the last SpaceCraft videos, and I don't know if it's kind of targeted trolls making their way over from Star Citizen or something, who knows, or if it's a genuine concern, but do let me know constructively in the comments below what your fears are about this. And look, it's a huge space game. I think the MMO or multiplayer angle can work. But let's actually go into what SpaceCraft is trying to do. It's multiplayer because it's a persistent universe. There are no private servers here, but the devs have been very direct about the intent. You're encouraged to play however you're comfortable. You can join a corporation and be part of a group, which is something I'm actually interested in doing here. Or if you want, you can just be a lone wolf inside that system and still play completely viably. Some interactions will be unavoidable, like the player-driven market, and you'll naturally see other players in stations. But that's not the same as being forced into raids, forced PvP, or forced group content here. If your ideal space fantasy is kind of like, leave me alone, then that direction should be totally viable in this game. Of course, the MMO comparisons are kind of unavoidable because of the persistent universe, but what they're going for here is more of a shared universe sandbox than a traditional theme park MMO. It's really just a simulation within the simulation that we're all actually probably in. Alright, relax Luke, this is LT Gaming, not LT Philosophy time. I think the direction of the corporation focus matters because it's more than just a social feature, it's how you make the galaxy feel like it has real structure in this game. I think it's going to feel pretty cool to work with other players within the corporations to build an industrial empire out in space. And I also think this is where SpaceCraft could seriously carve out its own lane, because plenty of games do exploration, plenty do base building and crafting, but not many make industry and organization feel like the reason you're out there. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed, so make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. Okay, it's an LT gaming video, so we have to discuss where I think this could fall short. It is still early with this one, and there are a few areas that SpaceCraft needs to tighten up. To me, some of the planets can still feel a bit lifeless, especially with that No Man's Sky comparison with all the amazing stuff you can do in that game. The mining and building loop is doing the heavy lifting, but there are moments where locations feel like a quiet stage rather than a place with character. But then again, you have to counter that space is an empty and barren place. But the planets could do with a little more character and a little more texture and just some more things going on to make it truly interesting, though it's definitely no showstopper. Don't get me wrong, they do look great, but I just want to see a little bit more stuff. The second thing for me is the flight model. It still feels like you're flying a drone, not really a spacecraft, though I've only had one main spacecraft during my playtest and about 25 hours of playtime. But I do feel they could do some work on this. I like that you can innovatively zoom, innovatively, is that a word? But you can zoom in and out of your cockpit to a third person and first person view, look around your cockpit, that's pretty cool stuff. And then of course the long-term balance once corporations and a player market gets deeper. I can't really comment too much on this one, it's more of a speculative concern if that makes sense, but I'm just worried once everyone starts playing how the player market remains balanced. We've seen in other games that sometimes that can be a problem. Now I could do a deep comparison section here, but honestly I think you know most of these games. Of course there's No Man's Sky, Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous and X4 really leading the field at the moment. And I did see some comments saying, well, why would I play this when I can play No Man's Sky? And I'm just not that type of gamer. I always want new space experiences to try. And this has a very different flavor to No Man's Sky. It definitely feels more industrial and a little more hardcore. I haven't been playing Star Citizen lately, so I really don't like to comment on it too much because I like to play the games that I talk about, but both Elite Dangerous and X4 are definitely industry leaders and I think they're going to stay there for some time. That economy layer of X4 is definitely a close match here. It would be my hope that SpaceCraft is a new challenger in the space sim category and that it can push the established titles to do even better. But Shiro Games, even though they have some amazing titles under their belt, definitely have set themselves a challenge here. For the future, I hope they keep pushing the corporation angle hard, because it's the most unique thing they've got and I can already see the fun in it. If they keep expanding contract roles, logistics depth and meaningful reasons for corporations to specialize, SpaceCraft could become one of those rare space games where co-op isn't just nice to have, it's a genuine strategy layer. So there we go, the demo is almost here, you can go out and grab it very soon, and if you bounced off our video before because you heard MMO, I'd reframe this game as Persistent Universe Player Economy Corporations, but with solo play and lone wolf progression as totally viable. The community manager for Shiro Games has confirmed this direction with me and I think that's really exciting. And with that demo landing on February 23rd, this is a perfect moment to jump in and actually see if that gameplay clicks for you. If you are going to try it, let me know in the comments below, and once you do try it, also return, maybe jump in our Discord and let me know what you think. Do all that YouTube stuff, click like, subscribe, comment, because we do drive our community on those comments and we love to hear it and we try to respond when we can. I've been Luke from LT Gaming and as always I'll catch you on the next one.